What's going on, guys? We are back once again with another update about Project FireTeam. We've been working way hard at the level itself and have made a lot of progress. We've been working on loot, and that's sort of one of the elements we're going to be talking more about today, is loot and weapons. We have lots of different weapon archetypes already in the game, with shotguns, hand cannons, marksman rifles, assault rifles, SMGs, and we have plans for a lot more of the other typical ones that you would expect, such as rocket launchers, grenade launchers, sniper rifles, etc. But as we were deciding on what array of weapons we want in the game, we kind of came to the conclusion that there was one element that we were missing. You see, Project FireTeam, like Destiny, is supposed to be a sci-fi fantasy game. And similar to Destiny, the sci-fi element is very easy to come across with all these different militarized weapons. You can add on extra knobs, tubes, electrical work, plasma, etc. And it feels sci-fi. But the fantasy element is escaped a little bit. Now, sure, Destiny has things such as glaives, swords, and bows, which, don't get me wrong, those all play into the fantasy element extremely well. It gives you that feeling of that more old tech mixed with new tech. But fantasy isn't limited to just medieval. It also has the magical component. And I'm fully aware that Destiny has those weapons of sorrow, which really play into hive and take an element and putting magical energy into your weapons. And don't get me wrong, Touch of Malice is one of my favorite weapons out there because of just how it looks. But I've always felt that that magical component could get pushed a little bit further. These still felt like guns with a magical element to it. And I really want to bring forward a weapon that felt magical. And that's where we came up with the idea for orbiters. When you first see an orbiter in your inventory or pop up, you're going to be maybe a little bit confused. It just looks like a chunk of something, a single object, compared to these other guns and weapons that you have in your inventory. And that's because what this item is it's representing multiple items. You see, when you drop out of your inventory and you have it equipped, you'll see that these things are floating around your wrist. As the name suggests, they orbit around your wrist. Orbiters are our first projectile-based weapon, which really shine in medium-range combat. Enemies get a little bit close, it's a little awkward to line up those shots. Enemies too far away will probably be out of the way by the time the hit gets to them. But when you get that medium range, they're a very solid weapon to pull out and they do really good damage. But where they really shine is their ammo economy. You see, orbiters you cannot force reload like a regular gun. There's no way to get more ammo in your magazine. You just need to wait. You'll see here that the orbiter, as it fires and it recharges itself, it automatically takes a small amount of ammo from your energy bar, which is both good and bad. Obviously, the downside being you can't reload it in the middle of a fight. You usually fire off this weapon and you throw it to the side as you swap to something else. But that's also the great part. These weapon types automatically reload themselves on the back end while they are stowed. So that means you can fire off a couple shots, switch to maybe your heavier weapon, something that uses up a little bit more ammo, and then when your ammo bar is starting to get low, you switch over to your orbiter and you use those shots that are much more cost effective but still do decent damage. And anyone that's checked out my previous video regarding customization knows that customization is really important to our weapons, and that's no different for orbiters. In fact, we're able to do something a little bit more unique here. So if we go into the screen here to edit the orbiter, you're going to notice a few things. Unlike other weapons that have multiple pieces making them up, this particular one, the Creature of Habit, only has two parts. The first part being the entire crystal, and that's simply because this orbiter is just one crystal. But in future orbiters, we might have spheres with spikes on them, so that might mean that you can customize both the sphere and the spike. But what this secondary piece is what things get really cool. You can customize the trail and the blast color when you fire off the weapon. So we're going to change the color here of the orbiter to something different just to make it stand out a bit, and then we're also going to change these little particles that are coming up. You can't change the texture on them, but you can change the coloring, which is awesome. So now, when we go back into the game, you'll see that not only is the projectile different, but that trail that's following after the orbiter is also different. So you can really go in and make something that really fits the vibe that you like. And every orbiter will have different trails, different particle effects when you throw them off, and you'll be able to change these colors, which I'm just really excited about. I'm very excited about orbiters because I think they bring a new element to the game that we haven't had yet. They bring projectile gameplay. Up to this point, all weapons have been hit scan. And I think their unique play on ammo economy will give players an option to really start setting up builds despite us not having really build elements in the game yet. You'll be able to decide, okay, maybe I can run 2 heavy ammo consumption weapons, but then put this orbiter as my 3rd weapon. So that way when I start running low on ammo, I can switch over to the orbiter that has some shots ready to go, and I can switch back once my ammo has regenerated up a bit, because the orbiters are not going to be consuming a ton of ammo on the back end. But there's something that you also have to be mindful of. Because they recharge on the back end, they're also constantly consuming a little bit of ammo once they are empty. So I think it just adds a really interesting decision for the players on what builds that they want to fit them into. And in our internal playtest so far, I've been having a lot of fun with them, messing around with them. They really shine in that medium range combat. When you have open targets that you can just fire off a couple of them, you can put out quite a bit of damage really quickly. So thanks a lot for checking out this video, guys. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all info on Project FireTeam. Have some very exciting new videos that will be coming out soon enough, hopefully, to kind of show off more of the level and some cool level design. I really want to start talking about like what replayable content is going to look like in Project FireTeam, as we recently created this really fun idea, which is just really going to help drive replayability. So once again, guys, thanks for checking out this video. Make sure to subscribe. Comment down below on what your thoughts are on orbiters. Is it something you could see yourself using? Is it something that you think that might need to have a lot of power behind it? Would love to hear your thoughts. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. Thanks again.